That's exactly the pasuk, guys.
Okay.
I have questions.
It says, "Vayitzaku bnei Yisrael el Hashem." Paro came first of all. It's Parsha Bshalach. We're doing Likkutei Halachos, but before that, we have to see. It's not here. Why? It doesn't look like it's here, which is incredibly hard to understand. It's a very, very beautiful Nosson brings in the letter, certainly. Beautiful, beautiful thing about this beginning of this pasuk. So we'll start with the beginning of the pasuk first, and then we'll go on to what Likkutei Halachos says. It says, "Paro hikriv." Paro drew near. Interesting language. Hikriv.
I was wondering what that also.
It's hikriv meaning. It means also that he drew them near. So the Medrash says, hikriv, they saw him and they were so afraid, they turned to Hashem with their whole heart and started davening, help, so Paro hikriv. So that's what Rav Nosson says. The letter is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Can't believe it's not here. It's an oversight. He says, that's how every Jew, when the Yetzer Hara comes after him and he feels pursued and beset upon with worries and troubles, Paro hikriv, use that, turn to Hashem because of that. Say, oh, I had sorrows, it's so hard. Okay, turn to me Hashem. Say, Bshalach, help me, please. That's first of all. He says, then it says here, it says that when it says, they lift up their eyes and they saw the Mitzrayim coming after them, traveling after them. They were very afraid and they cried out to Hashem. That's the Medrash. They cried out to Hashem, that's the Bshalach. Fine. So at the here, Rav Nosson says the second piece. Vayitzaku bnei Yisrael el Hashem. Vayitzaku bnei Yisrael el Hashem. Page Kuf Mevav in Likkutei Halachos Chomesh. Ikra Yisurim Batzoros K'mon Hatzon U'Machmash Tizgabru Ha'avolim Roim Shnasuk Suvim Roim. Why does a person have troubles? Why do I have sorrows and hardships? He says the person has bad desires that aren't so good. He's forgetting about Hashem. He's not connected to Hashem. So those bad desires, they make these bad havalim. These bad havalim they create when they're expressed, especially they create these bad havalim. And these bad havalim do a lot of damage. They do a huge amount of damage. Tremendous damage. Tremendous damage. Not simple. Deal with these bad havalim. The Piazetza says even just the yearning, just the desire also already does something not good. The person has bad desires, it makes like a little hair, one hair, another hair. And then suddenly something comes out, and it comes out in a bad way. That's nothing. How do I fall to this problem? It's not me. It's not what I usually fall to. He says because something bad. He says Kosh came for good. Every good desire, if he doesn't do it, it breaks something. So he's able to get somewhere where he needs to get to. But also says every good thing it comes together when he needs it. It helps him. He says so what happens? When a person has good yearning, a person is yearning for Hashem. He's yearning for holiness. He's yearning for goodness. He's trying to find himself, trying to be the way he's supposed to be. Help someone else, thinking in good terms, generous, being good. So then what happens is he makes the letters of the Torah. The whole world is created through the Torah. So everything really is letters. Everything is letters. And letters can be good letters or bad letters. You can have letters that are positive, they're good, they're the way they're supposed to be, or letters that are very, very negative. So these letters, they have to be the good kind of letters. When they're bad letters, the person's in trouble. So when I have good yearnings and I express them, that creates good letters, the person's able to, things work out the way it's supposed to work out. When he has negative and bad, that's the problem. Then things are formed in a bad way and it's very, very hard to get out of this trouble. A person needs the tzaras. He's open to the tzaras because he's not really, the Enu Levado by him is not 100% strong because the Maisa, listen, he has all these negative desires that are make him crazy, especially expressing them. What's the answer? The answer is only to cry out to Hashem. If you look and you see Paro is coming closer, everything's difficult, and nothing can be done, and it's all over, you have to turn to Hashem and cry out, help, please help me, have Rachmanis. Like I said, you say, anytime, before the Gzeira, after the Gzeira, no matter what, always cry out to Hashem. When a person is sorry, his troubles, things could be good, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, because I'm wrong. So what do I do now? I have to cry out to Hashem. I can't it's not enough just to speak. It doesn't mean the deep kavanah, cry at least with a good, with a strong voice, or especially with powerful kavanah. Today, the person wants to bring himself back to where he needs to go, bring himself back to purity by crying out to Hashem. breaking and canceling the negative desires and yearning. So that things can go well for him, and that way he'll leave it tzara, a little bit difficult. The cry to Hashem was difficult for them. From their troubles, he saved them. You don't have to thank Hashem. That's what thank Hashem for his kindness. Person, he thanks Hashem, he feels chesed, havik, so he's yearning for Hashem, he feels love for Hashem. That's what's going to counter the difficulty. That's what's going to also give insurance for them. There shouldn't be another difficulty. Many dvekas is through love for Hashem, through yearning for Hashem. That's all, every song, every thanksgiving to Hashem, all from love for Hashem. All from dvekas Hashem. Hashem will show his chesed. We'll thank Hashem for the chesed and for the grace he does for people. Through this chesed, an aspect of good desires, of good yearning, good long ideas, and the person has amazing things he can draw down through good ketufim, through this journey and hoping to Hashem, through the letters of the Torah being formed in a good way, the way they're supposed to do, with awe, with connection, with kedusha. That's how a person is able to move battle all the tzaras and the difficulty. There's another piece also in Kedusha brings here, but it's Hashem. Kol tzarkus tzarkus which is litzak based on tzarach one tzarach kol litzkois shalav hadas. Himtzai harchava gamatay chatzara. Yeah. That's what Dustin says. Dustin explains the amazing thing. He says, it's interesting. It says in the Tehillim, it says, what's the lashon? Mizmor David, the Baruch Hu Hashem B'nai. It's a mizmor, a song to David when he fled his son Absalom. So the Gemara already asked, mizmor David, Kino David. David should be lamenting what's mizmor. He's running away from his son. What can be worse? Who knows if there's any? It's hard to find any worse thing. So the Gemara said, no. He said, that's my son. Listen, he probably won't kill me. Maybe he'd accidentally like a slave or something. It's like very, we say, big comfort, so what? So that's no good, It's like one of the worst things that can happen to a person. His son's rebelling, he becomes king, he has to run away again. It's horrible, terrible, horrific. So the Rebbe explains, he said, you have to understand, when you're able to cry out to Hashem, so then things like we saw before in the earlier piece here as well, that makes things better. Tefillah always helps. The problem is a person can't cry to Hashem. He feels too constricted, I can't speak. So a person is seeing Moedeh, he has to be able to see the good. So David he found some good point. It wasn't compared to the terrible tzaras, it wasn't, but it just sort of was Masech Das. So then think a little bit, get a little bit of a broad perspective. Then he could cry out, say, Shalom, help me. And then he cries out, please help me out here, I can't handle this. He says, actually, this is David. That's what he says. He said, a person is that telling you first has to see the good. There's so much good, you have to see that good. The person can make himself so happy, since the Rasul is saying here, he's able to be so happy because of the good, he's able to connect to his good. He's so thrilled, until he's so happy, and joyous, it changes around even the depression, and all the bad feeling, all that he has to change into joy. That's how a person breaks the strachon. It's like a switch around. Switches things around. It shouldn't be one way, it's the other way. It should be this way, no, this way. Everything's like kilo, you're in heaven, you can't get anywhere, that's it, it's never going to work, and all these sort of feelings, it's all from the Sechat Tmuras. The person says, no, that's not true. It says, all atzvus, depression, and worry, and anguish, all these things. There's kedusha there. The moment a person is able to see the good, he's able to connect. Then again, that's through tzedakah, trying out to Hashem. Which help me change the bad into good, help me change it into simcha. That's how a person leads the Torah goes. The Mishlev Salsover explained. Maybe the thing is, it says Shari Dimalo Nidalu, the gates of tears are never closed. So he says. But simcha, there's no gates. It just breaks right through. Slams right through. Breaks everything. Makes everything good. You have to have simcha. That's our job, to work on being happy. I guess we'll do one more piece. The oral. The piece on Likkutei Halachos and Bshalach, Hashem Yichol Lechem La'atem Tafarishon, Yud Daled. Okay, so he's going to explain. There's a yam. There's also a yam in Nuchos, and we have to learn how to go through that yam. Can't just walk across the Atlantic and say, you know, I'd like to go here. No problem. Let's walk over. So do you have a ship? What's the problem? Can you walk? Like, you know, it's not that far. Take whatever, 20 hours. So what? It's not going to work well. That's not going to work well at all. If you have equipment, maybe. If not a submarine, or if not, you're in trouble. You're in for a hard time. He's going to change his mind fast. He said, if you have to have ships. If it's a longer journey, the harder the sea, you have to have a ship that can stay together. You can't make yourself a raft and just raft it. Either you'll live or you won't. When you're surrounded by sharks, this page Kufim Ches. You're surrounded by sharks, so you have a problem. Because you say, oh my gosh, this was a bad idea. This was a big, big mistake. How do I deal with this? And now what? You have to have a ship that's made with a lot of chachma, a lot of understanding. You have to have also a captain who knows what he's doing. You have the biggest ship in the world, the most beautiful ship, and you get on, no crew. Okay, raise anchor, yo. Do you know how to move the sail? No. Do you know how to steer? No. He's in trouble. This guy's in big trouble. It's not going to work very well. This is a big mistake. It's not going to take them long to figure that out. You have to know how to deal with the ship, especially you don't even have a crew that have no experience. The captain doesn't know what he's doing. You're in trouble. You know, what do you do when there's winds? Well, nothing much. In trouble. You can't really explain it. So, well, no, but I had a long yarn with him as a captain. We had a long discussion, and I know everything there is to know. That's what you think. You can't tell it over. You have to sort of hint that the person figures it out. He sees it, or he understands it. It's not so easy. You can't tell him all the ropes, how to deal with it, everything you have to deal with. It's very difficult. With computerized, maybe it's possible, but those times, maybe computerized, I'm not so sure. But those times it was very not simple. Same as a pilot. You can't say, you go into an airport and say, I want to rent a plane. Do you have an aviation license? No. But I read a lot of books. I read like 10 books. So I know everything. Have you ever been there? No. Sorry, buddy, we can't. Why? What? It's illegal. Why? Why? Because people like this die. Hashem Yerachim. In Israel, there's a rule. You're not allowed to use a foreign license. You have to take a test here. Why? Because all these Russians, they left from Russia, however long ago it was, the Iron Curtain collapsed. Lots of Russians came in, a million, who knows how many. And a lot of them, they bought documents, you didn't pay up as $1 to get a license. So they kept getting crashing. Anytime there was any road distress, difficulty, like wetness or slippery or a little bit of slippery situation, crashed and killed. I was like, how could this, if this guy knew how to drive, how did this happen? No normal driver would have done that. No way. So they finally figured out, these guys, they don't have a license. They don't know what they're doing. They never have any experience. They figured out, they want to have a watch. Go ahead and pay money and think, I'll pay $1, get a license. Why not? So that you can't discriminate against Russians. It's not right. So he said, no one's allowed. It's like 7 years in jail. You drive without a license. These people are they're crazy. It's beyond. You need to have a license. So also, I sit in cabs lots. I know how to drive. That's what you think. You need to learn how to drive. It's not so bullshit. He said, you have to know what you're doing. You go in a driver's test. Let's see if you really know how to drive. You're in a park. I've seen that. My dad does it all the time. No problem. Yeah, let's see you do it. Well, out of here. I'm out of here. You fail. I didn't want to be in the car with you. The driver. You have to know what you're doing. Sometimes it's very, very hard. Things can happen. There could be winds. There could be difficulties. And what do you do next? The only thing you do is help me out here. I can't handle this. The same thing in a car also. Somebody hits their brakes or who knows what happens. The person he needs last after the Shema, who knows what can happen. The same thing with the same exact thing. A person wants to go to Yam Chachma, wants to have Kedusha, wants to connect to Hashem. You can't get in here by day tzaddikim. The only way is through tzaddikim. They're the captain, they'll show you how. He wants to go down into the sea in ships. A person has to have a real person who knows what they're doing, a good captain. All the ways, all the pathways in the Yam Chachma. This aspect of the mix in the sea. He gives it a sea in the sea. A way, a pathway. You have to find the pathways in the sea. A person has turbulent thoughts, difficulty, you got to figure out what to do and how to deal with it. He has to make the right types of ships, the right types of contracts to be able to go through the Yam and in peace. The person has to be very careful where his thoughts are. That Tzemach Tzedek says in a letter that he says, giving someone a chizik one time and saying, it's going to be okay, it doesn't really help much. Because the problem is a person's thought patterns are used to one particular way of thinking. So I'm thinking one way, one attitude, one thing. So it doesn't help me. You said I shouldn't have that attitude. It doesn't do anything with me because I'm going to go back to the same problem. He has to learn a new attitude, how to think, a new way of thinking, a new mahalach of thinking. There are different ways of doing it. Depends on who the person is and how the person acts. The only way to really get it is Ramazim. The person's Ramazim. He has to chapes to understand what he's doing, how he's doing. The hands in the sea of knowledge. He has to understand how to get where he needs to go, how to make it. And that's the element of Kriya Shabbos is about to say in a minute. The person is quiet, the Chacham is quiet, he understands. If you don't understand shtika from Moshe, since he's able to erect a barrier in his seichel's understanding. Remove them in but there's questions and answers and this thing and that thing, and suddenly he becomes extremely bitter. Why, he's so bitter. And it's all listener. It's clear. I have my old control. But what's with this concept? What's with Moshe Rabbeinu? He told you have to make it a barrier to seichem and Beibishter and Bshalach and Kedusha. Not to make a place of such questions, right? A person has to just rely on Emunah. He wants to be he wants to understand. He says, and I don't have any way of putting an end to it. The person has a certain point. He says, okay, this is where I can get to now. That's it. I can't. The person is going to sink into the sea. He has no idea what's right, what's wrong, how to make a kabbalah, Sometimes at least the person is attracted to a great person. At least he can get something. Yeah, the person can give him a little corner who he is, where he is. There's a mice with a college school. Why? One of my boy, some older man came to the college school in Eretz Yisrael. Around the college, he said, I have no reason, no time in life. It's so hard for me. I'm so miserable and bitter and so difficult. I have such pains. Why am I alive? So the college school said to him, you old fool! If you put out one time in your whole life, 80 years of sorrow and pain, it's worth it. That's what he said. Fool. He got to be. So the Beichus of Rome says, wait a minute. He says, why is it that's worth that one time? He's like, he has a kasha, Neshi Yashin. He has the answer, well, it's tefillin, it's you put in tefillin, you put Hashem's tefillin, it's like, you have a general connection to Hashem, so therefore, it's tefillin. I don't know what his Yashuv means. What was his kasha? Why dafka tefillin? Maybe that was his kasha, then I can understand. What's the special tefillin is an aspect of time of Hashem. But, I can imagine a lot of people hearing this deeper and not understanding why. What tefillin one time, big deal. But it's not true. It's only one time we know. From our perspective, the Rebbe says, and the Mchal says the same idea, that every single good deed for sincerity of Hashem is forever. So any mitzvah, he told him, one mitzvah he probably knew the guy was doing. But any mitzvah is already worth it. So the person has to be able to understand that, to be able to accept that. And that's why I don't understand why, and how come Hashem did that, why is it important to Hashem, what's the difference? We have no idea, we have no way of knowing. So when a person gets the hakiras, he can just totally lose it. He has no idea. He can get anything that his nefesh bahamis wants, any answers, he can find a way of rationalizing it. Hin in the hair and hin in the hair. Yeah? There's no end. So a person has to have the way of making barriers. I can't have the emes az begolos hadas. Yeah. Sorry, I skipped. Besides Ikra Nation Priya Shabbos, was this the main miracle of the sea? The Yam Chachma was broken open in ruchnius spiritual terms. It broke through. They got through it. Dry land, which is Emunah. As he says a little later, I think here or elsewhere. Strange language. It was such a hard time. Mishnah breaks the Yam. Finally, right? Jumps in. What happens? Our sages say, any maidservant, the lowest Jewess, saw more than Yechezkel. Yechezkel had an incredible, beautiful vision of the recovery. They saw more. What do you need that for? Because the whole Indian was to get the das, break through and get the das. That's what it meant. Represents Baruchni, not just Begashmi. Similarly, the Yam of Gashmi is also broken through. They went through on dry land within the sea. The main thing when Moshe says, be quiet, right? They should be quiet. Be quiet. What's this quiet? Being able to accept, being able to say, okay, I don't understand now, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't understand everything now, and that's okay. It'll come. Well, why should I do this? Why should I like that older man? Oh, what should I do? Oh, what am I here for? What nonsense a person speaks? Hashem will fight for you, and you'll be quiet. This was their arousal from below, to be quiet. Just, okay, oh gosh, fine, what of it? Like they say, then there's chus of the avos, and the chus of Yosef was mentioned in the word for them. And Bshalach, until they went through the sea in peace. The same thing now. We know in Chassidus there's always an avoda and everything. There's an avoda for every person at all times. There's Kriya Shabbat also. Here we are. And Galus is such an incredibly long Galus that there's no end whatsoever. But the truth is hidden, difficult to find. The Samira Mishter, a person who tries to go away from bad and is looking to be really erlich, really good. People think he's crazy. V'yira chait nemasu, a person who is afraid of sinning. People are disgusted by him. Oh, what? Yichud, you're so careful. You meet people, it's like, yeah. If it matters, you're careful. It doesn't matter. So then all sorts of strange things happen. Oh, I had that happen. So you say, you sound very naive to me. You're not careful, so goodbye. What can I tell you? That's what happens. So there's also a lot of machlokas saying, oh, he's a chassid, oh, he's a b'sho, he's a b'sever, oh, he's a chabadnik, oh, he's a this, oh, he's a that, oh, he's a other thing. This is no good for this, this is no good for that, this is no good, this yeshiva, no, this yeshiva, they're this way, they're that way, the other way. Nobody's good. Kids say, no one really good is good. Some people are, and that's all these questions. It's no good, everything's no good, no good, no good. The main ticket, how do you rectify this? Don't ask questions, don't make hakiris, try to look for the good, and try to search for Hashem, like so before Kisuf, and try to wake up the good yearning, and try to do whatever one can for holiness. That's the answer. Like they start with search for the real truth. Who's trying to serve Hashem? Who's really doing whatever they can? Be careful the people who are running around. This was no good, that was no good, the other one's no good. These people, unfortunately, they're nowhere. You never get anywhere by putting people down. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. It makes a person, he feels bad. That's what the author of Kelms, people like to speak Lashon Hara. Why? What's the dig drive? And the Gemara says there's no pleasure like a snake. Likes to strike his victim, he gets nothing out of it. Says he gets no taste. He doesn't eat when he poisoned. So what's the big, like, what's no? So Dr. Kelm says a person doesn't want to look at the good in his friend and feel like, I need to emulate his good. I don't want to feel that. So I say, he's bad in this way. No, I don't have to emulate nothing. This guy's nothing. Garbage, no problem. That's the problem. So the person has to run away from that. See the good, not the bad. It's bad enough for a person to run after Gashmis, but because what's in the head, the alpha is in the head of the hardest thing. Most persons are convinced, oh, this is no good, oh, that one's no good, oh, the other one's no good, oh, this group is no good. That a person can never get what he needs, and what can help him so much. And what he knows he really needs. The only one we can turn to and rely on is Hashem. Like I say, be quiet. Be silent and wait and yearn for Hashem to deliver us. Till, generally speaking, a person who's just waiting, it's so hard, I'm such pain, okay, I'll wait. Be quiet. Suddenly a person's heart wakes up, starts to be inflamed in a good way. Until he's down with the Krat Hashem, with a wondrous yearning from the depth of his heart. Until Hashem looks and takes care of him. This is an aspect of what it says that, and therefore the wise person will now be quiet. And it says that good person should wait and be quiet for the deliverance of Hashem. There are many psukim like this. And that's what we need to do. We need to just be able to jump in the water. So when a person is pursued by bad thoughts, he's got like later I think, the person's able to jump right in. Jump in, we reveal the emunah, reveal the or. Not to let them be bullied, just find a way, make a sfina, be able to go through the Yam HaChachma in peace. Till the person is able to split through it, and then there's nothing bothering him. He's not on the sea, he's dry land, everything's great. That's our goal, that's what we're trying to get to. To have true good kitzufa, learn how to be quiet, not let the kashas bother us and make us crazy.
Good.